Good evening, YouTube. It's Marilyn with George Page, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we just if you follow my channel and also you follow me on social media, I announced the passing of the basketball legend Bill Russell, who's 11-time Celtic championship winner. I mean, he's a legend. You remember Bill Russell? Sorry. But this one here really touches my heart because the fact is, I'm a big sci-fi fan. I love sci-fi, and one of the favorite shows I used to growing up watching was Star Trek, the original Star Trek. And it was one of my favorite shows. I used to watch it in syndication as a kid, and even today I still watch it every now and then. And just this is what got me really into sci-fi, especially this lady right here, who showed that black people can go to space. And this is one Mrs. Nichelle Nichols. As you know, Miss Nichols' best known character was the character of Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, the original series. The series lasted from a good part, I think it was 69 to 72. And then there was also an animated series in a good part of the 70s. But, Miss Nichols was born Grace Dale Nichols, December 28th of 1932 in Chicago, and she came from a good, whole, I would say good working class family. Her father Samuel was a factory worker. Her mother Lashina was a homemaker, and she grew up with her brothers and sisters. And she went to school at Englewood High School. She graduated in 1953. And later on, she studied in New York and Los Angeles in acting. But also, not that she was an actor, she was a singer, she was a performer artist. I mean, she was all around woman. Also, some people don't know that at one point, during her career, she was also a Playboy playmate. Back then, we have had a little taste for of women of all different dimensions, colors, and size. You didn't discriminate. But around about the time she became part of one of the most successful, I would say one of the most popular series, and that was the series Star Trek. That was in 1966, and that series, I mean, it's still on today. You catch it syndication. She played Lieutenant Uhura, and she was the communications officer. She used to be right there across from the captain, and she's always wearing a little thing in her ear. And she also, when anything comes up like on the system, she tells the captain, and she has some pretty good episodes, like the episode here where she was when we went to the alternate universe. You had Spock with the goatee and the beard, and she was like just she's amazing. She was very sexy in this episode. And around the time she think about leaving Star Trek, but then she was approached by Dr. Martha King to stay on, and she did. Because Dr. King felt like she was really inspiring a generation, and she had controversy back then. You met her, into the round about the second season of the series. There was what we call the most controversial kiss in history. It was the first interracial kiss on network television, and it was between her and William Shatner, as Captain Kirk. And there was some people didn't want to do the kiss. And what Shatner was, he wanted to do it. So what he did was he did little funny faces like that. So they had no choice but to do the kiss. And this kiss was really controversial back then. No one, I haven't talked about it before. I did a video about Miss Nichols some time ago. But after a while, the series ended. And, she was just like any actress. She did other stuff. She went on and did some, had some spots here and there and in TV and a movie, and still kept her career. But also, she became a real representative for black people who were into space and science. She worked with NASA, with helping recruiting, the next generation of the future of people, especially black people. Because, when we see somebody that looks like us, we want to follow it. The great late, um, astronaut who died in the Challenger explosion, John McClane. Is it John McClane? Oh, I mean, see, he was a fan of hers. I mean, he told a story how he was a kid. He used to go to the library and he watched Star Trek and he was inspired by Miss Nichols. And after that, good part of the 70s, she's still working. She did some movies here. She did a movie with the late Isaac Hayes and Yaphet Kotto, was called Truck Taylor. You remember she was the madam, head of a bunch of girls, and I saw that movie quite a few times. It was the rare opportunity to see her play something outside of playing Lieutenant Uhura. I mean, it was a great movie. It's a classic. And she also kept up with NASA, good part of the 70s, working with them, and with her the other Star Trek stars such as the late DeForest Kelley. We had George Takei. Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy, and Walter Koenig, better known as Chekhov. You see William Shatner in there. So and also in the back you had John Doran, Scotty. And she was she was very close to her brother. Her brother passed away in good part of the '80s, but still she kept on. Then she came back as Uhura in the first Star Trek movie in 1980, and then she kept playing that role over again for a good part of from the good part of the '80s up to the '90s. Went from Star Trek 2 to Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, Star Trek 4, The Journey Home, Star Trek what's it, 5, The Undiscovered Country, and then, there's just a long list. And that was the last Star Trek she played. And she was back then she was Commander Uhura. And then even though after that she still was part of Star Trek, she did a lot of the what you call the conventions for Star Trek, even coming there and with many other actors from the series, and even she took part in the original series, the Next Generation, the next series, where she sometimes come on and she was just really a representative for a lot of black women who were into sci-fi, really was into it, and she was just one of those amazing women, she still even though she was still active and working, she was married quite a few times, and she has one son. And there was also a story where in which there was a possibly love affair between her and the late, Gene Roddenberry. Even one point, she even sung a funeral for. She sung his funeral back in the '90s when he passed away. But still, even that time when she was getting old, she was still going to represent NASA, and she really was somebody that people respected. Even she met the president, and this is the thing about somebody seeing. She inspired him because think about seeing a woman like a black woman represent you. But right about 2015, she had a stroke, and she was dealing with that. But that was set her back for a good while. Even she even attended when the Zoe what's the face who played Gamora in the Gods and Galaxy movie became her character. And when we do the new Star Trek movie with the new directing version, when Chris Pine is Kirk. And even though she still was part of Star Trek when there was the new series, the one with the black woman who's forgot her name. I don't really keep up that series because it's on streaming. I don't stream it. But even though she was at a point she was dealing with medical issues, like she was in early stage of dementia, and and there was also some issues with family issues that was going on. But she kept on acting. She was in a couple episodes of the series Young and the Restless. Where she played. I believe she played the mother of the late Christoph St. John. Character. And she was just one of these women that really got respected for her love and her support. In the acting world, especially the sci-fi world, especially as black people. And even in her waning days, she still kept up and even started off and go to some seminars and stuff like that every now and then. Not too often because she was dealing with medical issues. But she even had a couple of books. She wrote about her life and also stories she wrote about sci-fi. And even though she wasn't acting, she was still doing voiceover work and other things. And she had some movies she's done during her career, like notables like the movie Snow Dogs with Cuba Gooding Jr. And also she was even on episodes of Simpsons, Futurama, you know, several other animated series. And can't remember. She also one episode she did actually got to take command of the Enterprise on the short-lived Star Trek animated series. But she's just an amazing woman. I mean, being somebody growing up in sci-fi, you see somebody who looked like you, your complexion. It was great to see that. And she even inspired a generation of not just black people, young women of color to get into sci-fi. Because not a lot of women are into sci-fi, especially black women. But you know what? She inspired a lot of generations. And was it over the weekend they had I think they had a Comic Con, and there's generations of actors who recognize her for being the inspiration for them to get into sci-fi and also science and all stuff. That she was just an amazing lady. But to hear that she passed away, and she was 89 years old, and she passed away yesterday. It's just heartbreaking. It's right now. It was that long ago we lost the great late Leonard Nimoy and several other actors that played in the series, but we still have Captain Kirk, Sulu, and Chekhov. But you know what? Just her gone. I just feel like it's kind of like at least a whole, especially in our community. This lady was a legend, a true queen of her arts and skills, and she has done so much for our community to really give us opportunities that most people don't think that black people would have if it wasn't for her. So I'd like to thank Mr. Nichols for her commitment, her passion, her love for her art and her work as an actress, and also as a just a great person overall. So rest in peace, Lieutenant Uhura, and we will miss you. It's your man, George Page. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out.